Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So payments worth up to around $914 are going to be going out to some recipients of Social Security today. We're going to be going over who those people are, and we're also going to be looking at the payment schedule for the rest of the year for these Social Security recipients. Also, with the race for 2024 heating up, we're going to be going over a new candidate who is throwing his hat into the ring going up against President Joe Biden. And we have actually Bernie Sanders saying that one of these candidates is going to win in a landslide if they do all of these things right. Now, before I dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Okay, so as I just mentioned, we have the presidential race beginning to heat up. That's coming up next year in 2024, November 2024. Right now, it is expected to be, once again, Trump versus Biden, which a lot of people are saying they feel exhaustion over. But right now, there's no real guarantee that Biden is even going to be the Democratic candidate. Biden is going to run. He's already made that announcement. So a lot of people are saying that maybe he's too old to be running, but he says he's fine, he's going to run, but we actually have one person running against him. Well, we actually have two in total. One more person threw his hat into the ring last week. That is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Now, Kennedy is saying that he just disagrees fundamentally with him, according to The Hill. He says, "I'm not running a mean-spirited campaign against Joe Biden. I've been friends with Joe Biden for 40 years. I'm grateful for his service to our country and his family's service to our country, but I just disagree fundamentally with him on where the country is going. I don't want Wall Street running the country. I don't want the neocons running our foreign policy. I don't like censorship. I think I'm skeptical about war." Kennedy continued, adding that he believes the United States should look to settle the war between Russia and Ukraine. Now, according to recent polling numbers, this is actually very surprising to me. Right now, Kennedy Jr. is polling at 21% when compared to Biden at 70%, but 21% is still pretty high. I mean, he's still getting crushed by Biden in the polls, but at least he's somewhat giving him competition. Now, do I think he's going to beat Biden in the Democratic primary? More than likely not, but we'll just have to wait and see. Now, one person I think probably could maybe beat Biden, at least one-on-one, is Bernie Sanders. He's run for the last couple of elections. It seemed like he was actually going to win in 2020 before we had the other candidates like Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg drop out, which all of their supporters pretty much started voting for Biden instead of Sanders. And Sanders, in this interview with CNN, is saying that one of these candidates has a chance to win in a landslide if they do everything right. Watch.
Senator President Biden announced his campaign officially for re-election this week. He would be 86 years old by the end of his second term. You're 1 year older than President Biden. Is his age something that voters should consider in 2024?
Well, I think when you look at a candidate, you consider a lot. I think age is one thing. I think experience is another thing. I think your record that you have established is another thing. But to my mind, Dana, when you put it all together, what you have to look at is what does the candidate stand for? Which side are they on? Are they on the side of the billionaire class, or are they on the side of working people? Look, it is no great secret I ran against Biden. No great secret that he and I have strong differences of opinion. But when we live in a nation where you have a major political party, the Republican Party, where many, not all, but many of their leadership doesn't even believe in democracy. They maintain the myth that Trump won the last election. They're trying to keep people from voting. They're trying to deny women the right to control their own bodies. So that's a whole issue out there. If you believe in democracy, you want to see more people vote, not fewer people vote, I think the choice is pretty clear, and that choice is Biden. And second of all, what I do believe is the Democrats and the president have got to be stronger on working class issues. They've got to make it clear that we believe in a government that represents all, not just the few. Take on the greed of the insurance companies, the drug companies, Wall Street, all the big money interests, and start delivering for working class people. You do that, I think Biden's going to win in a landslide.
So Sanders here is saying that Biden will win in a landslide if he does everything right. Now, again, I'm actually surprised that Sanders doesn't try to win against Biden. I think he was very much against Biden back in the 2020 primary, and now he's pretty much throwing his full support behind Biden, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Again, it looks like it's going to be a rematch between Biden and Trump, so it should be interesting to see how all of that plays out. I think it's going to be very close. It's probably going to come down to a few different states. It's going to be coming down to Pennsylvania, Arizona, Nevada, Michigan. Those states I think is really going to determine. And of course, Georgia as well. It should be interesting to see how Georgia votes. Now, in some other news, there's going to be some payments going out to some recipients of Social Security today. Those payments are going to be worth up to $914 for individuals on SSI. So, benefits back, according to The Sun, direct payments worth up to $914 to return to Americans after missing a month. A direct payment of up to nearly $1,000 will land in millions of Americans' pockets in May after disbursements skipped the month of April. Social Security recipients who are eligible for supplemental security income will receive their regular payments on May 1st. And of course, if you remember, there was no payments for people on SSI back in April because there was actually two payments in March. So the payment on the last day of March was actually the payment in April, but since April 1st fell on a Saturday, the payment came one day before. So the first payment since March 30th is going to be going out today, once again for SSI recipients. Now, if we look at the payment schedule, we're going to look at the rest of the payments going to SSI recipients for the rest of the year. So again, May 1st today, those payments are going out to SSI recipients. In June, there's going to be two payments going out to people on SSI. The first is going to be going out on June 1st. And then the second payment in June is going to be going out on June 30th. Now, if we look at July, just like in April, there won't be any payments going out in July simply because your July payment would have come on June 30th. Then on August 1st, there's going to be another payment for SSI recipients. Skipping ahead until September, there's going to be two payments once again. The first payment for SSI recipients is going to be coming on September 1st, and then the second payment is going to be coming on September 29th. Then, of course, in the next month, in October, once again, there's not going to be any payments for SSI recipients because the September 29th payment is actually going to be the October payment. Then the next payment will be coming in November 1st. So that's going to be the next payment for SSI recipients. And then finally, in December, there's going to be two payments once again. The first one coming on Friday, December 1st, and the last one coming on Friday, December 29th. Now, of course, January 2024, you will not be receiving your payment for SSI. So whatever cost of living adjustment you end up receiving for 2024, whether that's 2%, 3%, 4%, or more or less, you're going to be receiving that cost of living adjustment payment on Friday, December 29th. So you're actually going to be receiving your cost of living adjustment for your last payment in 2023 rather than your payment in 2024, simply because your last payment in 2023 is really just your first payment in 2024. Now, moving into some other news, of course, we had the debt ceiling deadline coming up, which is going to have to be resolved by some point around June, July, or August. At that point, we will no longer be able to pay off our bills because if we do not raise the debt ceiling. So a lot of congressional Democrats and Republicans are maybe silently freaking out right now that they may not be able to reach a deal. Right now, they're sort of playing a game of chicken. So according to Axios, congressional Democrats splinter on debt ceiling strategy, and at least one House Democrat has received a call from Senate Democratic leadership urging them to tamp down their advocacy for talks between the White House and House Republicans, according to two sources familiar with the matter. Nearly a dozen House Democrats have told Axios, Politico, and the Washington Post, or written publicly, that they believe Biden and McCarthy should be in discussions on the debt ceiling. Most recently, Trump District Representatives Jared Golden, Mary Peltola, and Marie Perez wrote in a letter, "It is time to end the partisan standoff and brinkmanship before it rattles markets, damages our economy, and hurts the American people." Golden told Axios in an interview on Friday that, given divided control of Congress, it's obvious that whatever resolution there is to this current situation, it's going to be bipartisan, so let's just skip the game. So that leads us to our next article by Axios, where a bipartisan House group is actually releasing their plan to avoid a U.S. default. So a draft framework by the caucus, which is made up of 31 Republicans and 32 Democrats in the House, was shared with Axios. It outlines 4 steps to avoid a default if the government's debt limit isn't increased when it's expected to be reached, possibly within a couple of months. So the first thing they want to do is suspend the debt ceiling through December 31st of 2023, and if the remaining steps are followed before then, increase it through February 28th, 2025 after the 2024 elections. They also want to establish an independent commission modeled after a Pentagon panel that determines which military base to close to recommend a package to stabilize the debt and deficit, which would be voted on by Congress. They also want to adopt controls for the 2024 federal budget to stabilize the deficit in the near term, and they also want to change the budget process, requiring appropriations bills and budgets to go through the full committee process, having the Government Accountability Office put out an annual fiscal State of the Nation report, and mandating a mid-year budget report from the president. So that's what they're wanting to do. They want to have this plan in place in case we're not able to raise the debt ceiling, in case Democrats or Republicans cannot get together, reach some sort of an agreement to raise the debt ceiling. So we'll just have to wait and see how all this unfolds. In the meantime, it seems like they're really just playing a game of chicken, but I would definitely love to hear your thoughts in comments below. But that's all the news that we have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.